So welcome back, everyone. Now, my next guest has been on before with me, but he has someone new. But you've been on many, many times now, and you become a pro at this. I have with me Scott Broadbent, and he is the managing partner of Global Financial Advisors, and he has with him Brigham Curran. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, thank you so much.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what it is that you do, and we sort of know a little bit, but what you want to talk about today. And Brigham, also I want to talk about what you do there. What is it that you do?
Perfect. I'm an investment advisor representative. So anything that has to do with retirement planning, whether that's tax planning, retirement, trusts, wills, investments, insurance products, we kind of handle all of it that has to do with retirement planning.
Okay, now today you want to talk a little bit about life insurance. So let's talk a little bit about that. What types of insurance should people buy?
Well, that's a real personal decision. It's going to depend on, everyone is kind of different in what stage of life that they're in. And that's something we would need to go over as we sit down and kind of meet with everyone. But some of the statistics that have come out is 44% of households, only 44% of households have a policy, individual policy, which is a 50-year low, down from 70% over the last 30 years. So the amount of insurance is really low. And of those people that have insurance, 70% feel they're underinsured. So there's kind of, I don't know if you could say there's an epidemic, and most of this is mainly relating to the younger demographic of being underinsured or just uninsured and not insured at all. And most people feel the reason why they are is because they can't afford it. And we're talking mainly about term insurance, and that would be just insurance that you purchase for a set amount of time and have for a set amount of time. And this is a great way to insure a younger demographic, people that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, they have kids, they have a home, they're looking to replace or help pay off some of those debts and replace some of those things if something were to happen to them. And mainly what we're talking about is they feel it's too expensive, but if you're in your 30s, you're looking for $250,000 of term life insurance for a 20-year term. Most people think it's something that's going to cost about $400 a year. But in actuality, you're only looking at about $150 a year. So people just don't know. And as you get later in life, well, then your needs and your situation changes, and your type of insurance that you're looking for or the product that you would use will also change. And that's when universal and whole life insurance would come into play.
Okay, now you have 3 offices throughout the valley. One's in Mesa, Tempe, and Chandler. You can help anyone from anywhere. You do free consultations with everyone. You're also A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Also, you have given away on this show several times, and we're going to do it again today. It's a stress test for your portfolio, and it's a $350 value, free to people. Let's talk a little bit about what that is, what they get for that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people went through 2008 and lost a bunch of money. And we talk to them and say, were you stressed out? And they go, yes, I was. Well, so was your portfolio. And we look at that and say, if it happens again, and it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen again. I mean, they just interviewed Bogle, who runs Vanguard. And he said in the next decade, for sure, he sees 1 or 2 coming. So if you're sitting there in your chair right now and saying, hey, what's going to happen to my money? Will I have enough after that? Come in and see us, and we'll give you that free stress test on your portfolio. We'll simulate and say, hey, this is what you've got. These are some of your holes. How do we, kind of frame that up and shore it up and keep you safe?
Now, you had said, too, before, that it's like a second set of eyes. Right?
Yeah.
And people who have already have one, you could do it's like having a second opinion.
Yeah, we have people all the time that come in for a free consult, and sometimes we'll look at them and say, hey, listen, you've got this and this and this that look great. We like your guy. We like all this stuff. And sometimes it's just enough for you to say, okay, it looks like I do have my ducks in a row. But most people have some, but not all. And we'll bring up questions. We'll ask them, have you thought of this? Have you thought of taxes? When was the last time you sat and your financial guy said, hey, let's pull out your taxes and look how much you're giving away and see if we could keep a little more in your pocket? Stuff like that just gets people thinking.
Now, again, they can help anyone from anywhere. Their phone number is 480-361-4966. It's retirewithglobal.com, and our number here, we want you to get that free stress test for your portfolio by calling here at 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. It's a $350 value free to you, and it's a second set of eyes for you, a second opinion. Everybody should have that checked out. And there's so much going on in the world right now today with retirement planning. People are on spilkas. I call it on spilkas. They are. They're crazy. They don't know what's going on. And you want to make sure that they do have their ducks in a row. And by doing this, you can help them out. Again, our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Life insurance, okay? It is part of your portfolio. It's a major part of it, isn't it?
It is, and it just depends. It can be, and if it needs to be, then yeah, that's what we can do, is come in and just take a look, because most people don't know if they need it or if they don't need it. Is that something that I need, or am I okay where I'm at? And that's what really, not only the stress test, but our consultation will do.
Let me ask you something about the life insurance that you're talking about here that's good for the younger sector out there. There's a lot of people, though, and you don't really think about this when you're young, right? You don't. And but you're getting married like in your 30s, and all of a sudden now you're going to get pregnant, you're going to have children, and that's all of a sudden when it sort of kicks in. Is this perfect for that person?
Yes, exactly. Well, what I was talking about earlier, and with term life insurance, that is the perfect solution for a young family that is just getting going, that is starting to accrue some debt with a home, and they starting to have some needs to replace some income and take care of kids. They maybe have some credit card debt, maybe cars that they've got on books that, if you lost the main breadwinner of the family, or a large portion of the income that's coming in, what would happen? How could you manage that?
I think you have to put it in perspective too. Most people have Netflix, most people have Hulu Plus, or some version of one or the two. That's the same cost it is to take care of your family. So if you can afford Netflix, which most people can, you can afford to make sure that your wife and your kids are safe.
Their phone number is 480-361-4966. It's retirewithglobal.com. Before we go to a break, I wanted to ask you before this, and I'm sure it's a long answer, but we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to go to a break and talk more.
Sounds good.
How can life insurance be used then in retirement?
There's a whole bunch of situations where it's appropriate. We find most people that hold long-term insurance of some sort, your variable lives, your universal lives, your whole lives, your index universal life. I mean, the list goes on and on. Most people's eyes start to glass over and they go, oh my goodness. But hey, do you need to pay some taxes when you pass away? Do you want to leave some money to your kid? I had a guy that came to me and says, listen, tell me about the lazy money in your life. And the guy goes, what do you mean the lazy money? He says, how much do you have sitting in the bank that you've not touched in the last 6 or 7 years? The guy says, well, I got a couple $100,000 there, or 100,000 or 50,000. He says, let me show you how to turn that into $300,000-400,000 that you give to your kids tax-free. That's it. I mean, we can talk more about it. I know you're kind of saying that, but there's so many applications when you get where you're retired.
You do free consultations with everyone. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They can help anyone from anywhere. They have 3 offices throughout the valley. There's one in Mesa, Tempe, and Chandler. Our lines are open here, and everyone who's calling in, you're getting the stress test for your portfolio. It's a $350 value, free to you. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk further about this. Again, it's retirewithglobal.com, and call them at 480-361-4966. Hang tight. We're going to be back in just a minute. So welcome back. And we are talking with Scott Broadbent and Brigham Curran, and they are with Global Financial Advisors. Our lines are open here. We are giving away the free stress test for your portfolio. I love this because it's a second set of eyes for it. It doesn't cost anything for you, so it's a $350 value, free to you. They already do free consultations with everyone. They're rated with A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they can help anyone from anywhere. Call us here for the portfolio stress test. It's 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Okay, now that you asked me that question at the break, it's happening. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this, okay? How much insurance should someone buy?
Well, there's kind of two things, but if we're just talking about basic, what you call term insurance, and what you're looking for, a younger couple looking for insurance, they kind of use the DIME methodology, and that's an acronym that kind of stands, and it stands for is D, it stands for debt, I is income, M is mortgage, and E is education. And what you're looking to really do is replace, some of that lost income and to pay for what debt you have. And the D being debt, meaning more credit cards. So, for example, if you have, say you have your car and your credit cards, maybe about $30,000, and then your income, you need to replace your income. So, say, just for easy math, $100,000 in annual income. You're going to want at least in between 5 and 10 times your annual income. And then mortgage. Most people have their house, easy math, $300,000 on your mortgage that you'd want to be able to pay off. And then education. Whether that's education for you, education for your spouse, maybe so they can move on, or it's just education for your kids and paying for their education as they go forward. Say we put that at $100,000. If you add that up, you're looking for about anywhere between $900,000 and $1.5 million in term life insurance. And that is something that is very affordable. Like Scott was saying about Netflix, if you're paying for Netflix, you can afford some life insurance, and you really need to have it. And a lot of people forget is women need life insurance too. There's not only if you were to lose if you were to lose your spouse, most people just think, hey, my husband needs a life insurance policy. I don't really need to worry about that. But women really should have. Men should have a policy on their wives. You have kids. How are you going to help take care of those kids? How are you going to get coverage to watch for them? Also, most women today are working, and that's half the income coming into the home, or maybe they are the breadwinner.
I gotta say this right now. There's a lot of people out there, and it's gotten more and more prevalent, that are divorced. And there's a lot of single women out there, more and more so, that now, because they end up, they're not going to get a man, they end up maybe starting their own business and doing whatever, but they don't know about these kinds of things. They don't want to deal with it. That's something they put to the side. What do you feel about those women out there that might be listening right now that are saying, I don't even know if I can afford something like that because I need money for this or that?
A lot of people live that whole paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. I say, listen, life is like chocolate cake. It's easy. Couple simple ingredients. Take and look at your week and say, how many times did you stop by Starbucks? And you just say, hey, listen, I could probably give it up one day. I say, great. On the weekend, how many times did you pizza in the movie with your kids because you were just exhausted? And they go, 2 or 3 times. Or you ate out. And I said, listen, could you give that up once a month? Not every weekend, but once a month. They go, yes. I said, you add that all up, guess what it's worth? Probably a couple $100 a month. You could easily get all those extra things that you need in your life. And you really think about it. If you have those kids, you have your stuff, you need to make sure they're taken care of.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to just pull at their heartstrings, but I want to say, listen, if you love them, take 5 minutes to plan and make sure that they're taken care of. Listen, don't be the family that they hold a golf tournament in the honor of the spouse that died. That is not how I want my kids to remember me. I want my kids to remember me as somebody who took care of their mom, and that she could, under that DIME method, the 5 and the 10, there's a method to the madness. It's, what if kids are in their teenage years? Great, she has enough for 5 years to get them through high school. She can be there for them. She can take care of them. 10 years, what if they're younger? She can be there a little bit longer. Hey, for me, that's peace of mind. It's not about the fact I'm not here on the earth anymore. It's the fact that somebody is going to be there for my children, and somebody has the time to give them so that they don't end up, all the stuff that happens to people.
The last time that you were on, when we were done, I said to you, there's so many people out there. The older people in this world today, they pretty much, a lot of them might have already done something like this. Let's face it, okay? It's, maybe they're 60 and they haven't. A lot of them haven't. And younger have not, okay? And last night, it just so happened that I was talking with some people and women, and they were saying how I don't know if I will be able to do what my parents were able to do for me. And I think that's where it's great that you could come in and educate those people out there that don't know. And it's as simple as you said. Look at your finances first. Go ahead.
There's a good gentleman I know really well. His dad passed away. His mom was alive. They had taken some life insurance and purchased it and done some stuff. And if you get the right kind for people that are a little bit older, you get the right kind, it'll do 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 things for you. It'll take care of long-term care. It'll do all these wonderful things. And you can use some of your lazy money or some of your, if you're over 70, your RMDs, the money the IRS is forcing you to take out of your IRA or your 401k. They're going to force you, and you're looking at going, well, I got this money. What do I do with it? Well, you don't want to have you don't want to be a burden on your kids. You want to be somewhat self-sufficient. And it's so inexpensive to do, and it's easy to plan in there on the long-term care, and then you're safe. You're safe. I mean, and then you can have people come in and take care of you and do the stuff. Listen, the biggest regret we see with retirees is they get far along and they realize they are no longer going to be able to make the decisions on their life. Somebody else is going to decide where they live, how they do it, and everything like that. And then it only comes down to a decision of what kind of quality of life is that. Is it going to be state done and somebody's going to tell me where to go? Or do at least my kids get to pick a place where there's nice roses out there and the windows are big and I get to smile and I get to see them? That's what this gentleman has for his mom, and he had it all set up, and she had it all set up correctly. It doesn't mean that she's not in a facility. She's just in a really nice one where everybody loves to come and visit, and she loves it. And that, I mean, there's so much peace of mind for just you to your parents about that. I think kids need to go to their parents if they're in their 40s and 50s and sit down with mom and dad and say, hey, is this taken care of? Or is it just some cash in the bank you have? Because that will run out. It won't last forever.
Also, I do think, though, that people tend to not want to bring that subject up. Either they feel like the parents are going to say, well, what do you want? You're getting all my money, or,
Exactly.
But it's really not about that. Go ahead.
Exactly, and one of the things, it isn't about that, and it really is to make sure they're taken care of. And no parent wants to either be a burden on their children. They want to make sure that they have everything set in place and what they're going to do. One of the things I just kind of say is when you're looking for someone that's looking at insurance, one of the things you want to make sure you look for is you want to make sure you're working with a broker. Someone, and not someone that is a captive agent of a company. You want to make sure that they can do the shopping and make sure they're finding you the best product and the best price, and they're not just tied to one product, one price. You want to make sure you're working with a broker that can do all of that for you.
Really quickly, because I know we've gone off on a couple of things today. What is a Rich Man's Roth?
Rich Man's Roth. If you don't have one, you should get one. And the reason why I say that is most people love tax advantage or tax-free income. I mean, that just sounds cool all by itself. That's what a Rich Man's Roth is. It's a matter of taking some of the money and saying, hey, listen, all the future earnings I have on this, all the future interest I'm going to earn and live on for the rest of my life, do you want it taxable by the IRS or do you want it tax-free? And if you say the word tax-free, you've got to call us and come and let us talk to you about that.
Their phone number, it is area code 480-361-4966. They do free consultations with everyone. They are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They have 3 offices throughout the valley, but they can help anyone from anywhere. Mesa, Tempe, Chandler, and their phone number again, it is 480-361-4966. It's retirewithglobal.com,
And everyone can call in throughout the rest of the show for the stress test for your portfolio. It's a $350 value, free to you. Call us here at 602-277-5369.